Should I try past life regression? Even though I might not believe in reincarnation. I'm gonna tell you why you should. Even if you don't believe in reincarnation, even if you're not spiritual, I still think that it's very fun to try past life regression. So I'm gonna explain you why, and I also made a video about my 3 theories about past life regression, the way it works, right? So if you want to check it out, you don't have to. So I have 3 theories, and 2 of those theories are not spiritual. So if you're not spiritual, if you believe in science, or you don't believe anything at all, I have a theory for you as well. So check it out in the description below. I'm gonna link it. So it's very fun. So what is past life regression? Past life regression, it's a form of hypnosis where we go into a past life to discover what happened there, right? To discover, the story, to discover maybe sometimes clients come with an issue, to discover why this issue is happening in their life, or maybe the roots are in past life. Past life regression is a gentle form of hypnotherapy where we take a client into past reincarnation, right? And when I say gentle, it's because hypnosis has different levels of depth. So when clients come for past life, they always feel like they weren't in hypnosis at all, because it's a very light state where they speak to me, right? So we're doing a past life regression session, and I ask the client what they see, what they experience, and I guide them through past life, and they're like, well, I don't think I was in hypnosis, because I felt really aware, I felt really really up, right? So we're just sitting with my eyes closed, but you're actually in hypnosis, but it's just a different level, right? Because hypnosis have very different depth, right? You can be very deep, or you can be very light, and you can talk, and you can experience things. You can also experience things. So I told my story really quickly, and I'm gonna tell my story really quickly in this video, why I'm excited about it and how I didn't believe in it. So when I came to school of hypnotherapy, I didn't want to do past life because I didn't believe in reincarnation, and I was like, well, it's not for me. I don't think I will be ever doing it in my practice. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. But the funny part is now I'm like, woo, past life rules. It's so much fun. So now I love it. And why do I love it? Well, it was after my first past life regression experience where I discovered that it's very fun, that I discovered that I see a bunch of really interesting images in my head. I experienced a different life. I experienced, so many different things, different time, different body. I was in male body. Some past lives, I've done so many of them. Some past lives, I had male body, some past life female, and they were all different. So it's so much fun. It's like you watching a movie, but this movie is in your head, and you experience it with all your senses, and that is so amazing. It's better than a theater, it's better than going to a movie. So you guys definitely should try it if you're interested in that. And also, you never know what's gonna come up, because sometimes people tell stories, and in no way they tell me I would have imagined that kind of stuff. In no way I would have come up with this scenario, but your brain, or it's a soul, whatever you believe in, it's either your imagination in your brain, or it's your soul giving you information from your past life, that you get this information and experience it. So it's very fun. So today I'm going to talk about benefits of past life and why I believe it's so cool, it's so awesome, why I really like it. So we're gonna start with benefits. So I already start with first and number one benefit that I really like is that it's fun. It's very, very fun. It's very, very unique experience, and you experience yourself as a different person in a different time, in a different situation. So, and it's very immersive experience. You see yourself like one past life I saw myself as a man, as a warrior. Another past life I saw myself as a queen, with ancient times, when we're foreigners, right? No, they were in white robes, so I'm not sure what kind of time frame it is. Then another life I saw myself as a pirate, right? So it was so much fun that you experience all of these things, and you're like fighting on the ship, and swimming and doing all of these things. So That is fun. It's like watching a movie. It's like experiencing it with all your senses. You never know where it's gonna take you, and it's always curious where it's gonna take you. So super, super, super fun. Also, another benefit that you get is that it is always relates to your current life and your current struggles or your problems or stuff that you're thinking about and trying to figure out. So whether you come with an issue, sometimes people come with issue trying to resolve, right? Most a lot of clients come when they have an issue in their life. It's either health problem or phobia, and they've tried everything to resolve it, and there is no logical explanation. Never happened. Something in childhood, like they never had an issue with it, but they fearful, they have a problem, and then they like, I don't know what else to do, so they come to past life regression, and then they go into past life, and they find the solution. Well, they experience something similar in past life, and then the brain understands, okay, that was in the past, right now we shouldn't be experiencing it because there is no logical explanation. So the brain finds logical explanation in past life. We tell the brain, right? Hypnotherapists tell the brain, okay, so that issue was in the past, you already experienced it, you don't need it anymore. So now in this life, you just get all the learnings, all the benefits, and you can forget about it because that's there, that's in the past, and we'll leave it in the past, which is so powerful, which is so amazing. And some people come to past life and they want to see, they want to have fun, they want to see what they were they queen, right? Were they king, like were they royalty, or maybe a knight with the shining armor, So it's very interesting to experience and see where your brain or your soul will take you, right? Whatever you believe in. So it doesn't matter whether you believe in spirituality or reincarnation, you still can have so much fun with it. And as I mentioned already, well, you get deeper guidance, deeper understanding of yourself and your life, and maybe some learnings, maybe some power qualities that you experience. So let's say if if in this life you struggle with confidence, and we take you to a past life and you were a confident warrior, you experience it with your whole body, your brain remembers that, yes, I can be that way. So eventually you take that power into your life and you feel like, okay, if I was in past life this, then I can do it here right now, right? Because I'm the same person. I mean, even though I was different back then, but it's still me. I already experienced it with all my senses. So you kind of bring that power into your life. So you can bring a lot of knowledge, a lot of learnings, because when we do past life, at the end, we ask, we look at the life, at the whole life, right? All life experiences, and we ask the question, what learnings did we get? And most of the time it's so powerful, it's so insightful, and people get so much out of it that is just so amazing. So that is why it's powerful on so many levels. It's not like just resolving an issue, it's also getting yourself more wisdom, better understanding yourself, getting some maybe power qualities out of it. So there's so many things that you can do with past life that you can get from past life experience. So another big one that changed my life completely is a fear of dying. So before I've tried past life regression, before I tried this past life experience, I was scared to die. I feared to die. I was scared of death. And it's normal. We're all scared of death. We're all scared of this experience because we don't know what's after. We don't know what's going on, right? So it's normal to fear death, and it's normal in every single human. So I was, I was a normal person. But the transformation after this past life experience, past life regression experience, was amazing. So before, it was like every time I think about death, every time I think about dying, right, I was so fearful, I was so stressed out, I was so, there's so much stress about it. And after past life regression experience, I saw it in a completely different way. Because when we go through, most therapists, I don't know if everyone is doing the same way, what we do in past life regression, we go through certain periods of time in a person's life, very important events, right, through life, and then eventually we get to the time of death, and then we see how we died in the past life, so we see this experience, right? Unless it's very traumatic experience, then we try to avoid it and get to the soul moment after it, right? So the most past life regression therapies where you go into your, a few minutes before you die, and then you experience it with your all senses, right, in that past life. After you die, what you see, what you feel, and this is, I don't know how to describe it. I think people that try past life regression, people that try this experience, they can maybe feel it in a certain way, but I don't know. You just feel so after so let's say in past life you passed away, and then your therapist saying, okay, your soul, what you feel, what's going on, where's your soul going, right? And it's, once your soul is out of your body, you feel so peaceful. I don't know, it's the most amazing feeling in the world. It's like there are no problems, there is no stress, there is no feelings, there is no emotion. It's just being one with everything and feeling it's such a peace that I realized that actually life after that, not life after that, but after that is way easier than being living here with all our stresses and environment, and feeling the body and sometimes being sick and experiencing all these emotions. After is, for me, I felt like it's much better. So I'm like, whoa, that's very interesting. And when you experience it with your whole senses, right? When you go from, struggle in your past life, and then you're like, oh, finally, it's just peaceful, and finally, it's a different level of consciousness that you experience. It's a different feeling that you experience first time in your life. It just, it brings you to a different awareness. It brings you to a different level where, after this experience, I stopped fearing death. Not completely, of course, our brain fears death because that's the main fear for our subconscious, right? It protects us from, dying. It protects us from, this death experience, because the whole point of subconscious for us to survive, right? So we need to survive. But at the same time, there's no more stress about dying. There's no more stress in you. Once you experience what's on the other side, it feels, well, today I live, tomorrow, if it happens, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. There's nothing else I can do about it. But I already experienced what's on the other side, so there's no more fear of unknown. There's no more fear of what's gonna happen. There's no more fear that, kind of stress you out. Like, is it bad? Is it good? Like, what's gonna happen to me, right? So this, this feeling, I don't know, it doesn't really matter whether it's real or not, but once you experience it, it kind of gives you a sense of peacefulness. It kind of gives you a sense of, life cycles. It gives you a sense of, being okay with, everything and changes in life. So it changed my life completely, and I know it changed so many other people's lives. Maybe it's not the same experience for everyone, so some experience it in a different way, but that's what it was for me. That's my personal experience, so I'm not talking about everyone else. And it's completely amazing. Like, it changed my perception completely and changed my life completely, where I feel more peaceful. But so if you have a fear of dying, it's a good option to try, but at the same time, please remember, guys, if you have any mental conditions, if you have any mental disorders, or if you think that is going to be too traumatic for you, if it's not going to be a good experience for you, if you don't think you can do it, first of all, talk to your mental health practitioner, right? To your licensed mental health practitioner if you have any issues with your mental health, right? And see if it's appropriate therapy for you, if it's appropriate experience for you, because we have to be careful what's going on in our mind, so your therapist knows better what's appropriate for you and what is not. And second of all, if you feel like you don't want to go through this death experience, right? So some people don't. You gotta talk, if you're doing hypnotherapy and you're doing past life regression, you gotta talk to, your hypnotherapist and say, well, I don't want to go through this experience. Can we get to the point where, before that death, right? And then after I die, so we don't have to relive this, death experience, and we already look at the whole life as a soul, and see what learnings we get from this whole life path and what we can bring in our life that will help us, right? So maybe you can skip that moment if you feel like that you're not ready for it. So the next benefit, and I already touched up on it a little bit, is resolving issues in your life that have no explanation. So sometimes people come and they have phobias, right, where they have certain illness that they went to doctors say it's all fine, or doctors say, well, there shouldn't be an issue. Like, I know this story that I heard from our teachers, where this person came and they had pain in the arm, right? And they tried everything. They went to doctors say everything is normal. They went to therapy, they went to hypnotherapy, they went to everything else. So the last resort, they tried everything, nothing helped. It wasn't resolving. It was just pain in the arm for no apparent reason, right? It shouldn't be pain in your arm if there is nothing hurting, there's nothing wrong with it, right? So this person came to, do a past life regression and see maybe that's a root in it. So they actually did the past life regression. They discovered that they injured the arm in the past life, and then the pain went away. So basically, it's so interesting because there were so most people, when they come, sometimes they have no explanation why it's happening, because they've tried everything, and then they come and they're like, okay, maybe I should try this, maybe it will help. And then when they try and they see in past life, the brain connections resolve it and see it's in the past, we live it in the past, and they bring it to the current moment, and then the issue goes away. So that's also an amazing tool where you can, if you've tried everything, right, maybe it's an alternative tool to resolve your issues. So maybe can be an alternative tool to help yourself. But again, first, if you have any pain in your body, you gotta see the doctor. You gotta try, you gotta see professionals first before you do that. So if you broke your arm, don't go to a hypnotherapist, go to a doctor. Yes. That's not the case. So be mindful about it, use your common sense and logic in order for you to do it. So, again, with everything medical, you gotta go to medical professional, and then if the medical professional is okay, you can come to hypnotherapy. So that's always the case, in every hypnotherapy session. You should see professional for what it is. But if nothing else, right, you can also try this. And most people, they find it very helpful. Or it can be certain phobia, right? So maybe it can be phobia, water phobia. So person, they're scared of water, right? So they also can do the same past life regression, discover what's going on in the past, and then see that, okay, this happened in the past, there is no reason for it to be happening right now, so they leave it in the past, and then it becomes better and the phobia resolves. So that can be also a really great tool to resolve certain issues that a person is struggling with. So talk to a hypnotherapist whether it's right for you, whether you should try it or not, because it's not for everyone if you're trying to resolve your issues. And also it depends on the situation, it depends on so many things, right? So it has to be personal. You have to get a very custom opinion, right? Personal opinion, specifically for you, right? So but it's a fun way to try it. So if you don't expect too much out of it, if you don't expect, there's not too many expectations, try it for fun if you can. That is awesome. But past life regression, I also wanted to mention, it's not a magic pill for all. So if you have an issue and you try to resolve it and you come, sometimes it does resolve and sometimes it doesn't resolve. So it depends on the person, depends on the situation, depends on the life path. And sometimes, I've done past lives where I come with one, request, right? So when we come, we usually write down what we want to get, what kind of insight we want to get, or what we want to resolve. So I came with one request, and then I saw completely different that related to my life right now, to my struggles right now, but it was completely different issue. So I didn't see something related to issue that I came with. So sometimes the brain, it tells you something else, whatever you probably need at that moment, whatever you probably need, at that time. Maybe you're not ready to let go of that issue that you came with, or maybe something else that's going on, or maybe that's not the right tool for it to go. So most of the time your brain tells you the right, it gives you the right information for you to resolve something that's going on in your life, or to give you insight on what's going on in your life, or to gain some, strength or power that you need during that, life experience. So it can be different for everyone. So it's not like a magic pill. So if you have, something and you come, and it doesn't mean that it resolves 100%. Everyone is different, every experience is different, so it can be different for different people. So another benefit that past life can give you is, discovering and opening up relationship traits, and, figuring out what's going on in your life, and, what's happening. So I'm gonna tell you a real client story, and they gave me permission to share this story, because well, most of the time information is confidential unless I ask the client and they say it's okay to share it. So the client came to me and they experienced a lot of loss in their life, and they felt really lonely, even though they had relatives next to them, even though they have kids, right? But they still felt really alone and very lonely, and they couldn't deal with this feeling because it's way too much. It kind of overpowered them. So they came to me for the past life, and we started looking into it, we started diving into it. And it took us to a past life where it was like a cave age, where people didn't talk and they were fighting with stones, right, and trying to kill animals with stones. So that kind of situation. So basically, this client saw themselves as a man, as a caged man with a family, and there was wife and there were kids. And what happened is that this man got injured, and once he got injured, his wife, and whatever, woman, right, back then, whatever it was, maybe they didn't have wives, his wife and kids, they left him to die because he couldn't move, he couldn't support himself, he couldn't get food. So his wife and kids left him to die in that cave. And he felt so, because back then, if your man cannot provide, you leave your man and you find another one that can feed your kids so you can survive, right? Because it was a tough environment. It's not like right now. So right now it doesn't happen anymore, but back then it was all about survival. It was about whether you survive as species, right? So it was a rational way for a wife to do it. So the client experienced all this, and they saw a wife living. They felt so sad. They felt sadness. They felt so alone because they were left alone to die in that cave, right? So it's very emotional experience. It's a very tough experience. But eventually, the client came to realization that back then, right, in that life, that was normal emotion to experience this sadness, that loss, that they died alone and the family left them. But it was also rational because the wife left him because she wanted to make sure that the kids survive, right? She wanted to find someone who can support the kids so they can survive and they can live. So they couldn't stay with the father because the wife couldn't support the family. And the kids otherwise would have died, and they would have all died together, which is not good, right? Because you want your offsprings to survive. So once the client got this realization, they felt so much better. So they realized that in that past life, that emotion, that deepest sadness and being lonely and feeling lonely was normal, because that was part of the experience, and that was that what happened, right? Because it's terrible. It was terrible to die that way, right? But at the same time, client came to realization that it was in the past, right? We left it in the past, and back in the past, this emotion was was validating. It was normal because that what happened. But in this life, they have family, they have kids, they have people that support them. So this emotion is not appropriate. It shouldn't be anymore. They don't need it anymore, so they left it in past life. And they realize that it's a part of a process, a part of the soul. Sometimes people die in a certain way that is not fair, but then they reborn again, and then it starts over again. So there are different lives and different paths. So that was a very emotional experience, because they experienced a lot of things that were traumatic, right? But at the same time, during that emotional experience, decline got realization that this deep sadness emotion is not, it doesn't work in this life anymore, it should be left in that life. So they felt better, they felt relieved, they felt like, okay, I can finally move on from this emotion and start seeing good in life, and start connecting to people, and start being open to people, and seeing that there is family here, there is people that support you, right? So this kind of experience, it changes your life, it changes your perspective completely. It kind of also gives you relationship traits, so what's not working in your relationship right now, right? Maybe, it's disconnect from your family, where you feel kind of alone, and then you can reconnect back again, right? So that feeling that you worked on goes away, and then you start connecting to your family, to your friends, or whatever it is. So it kind of connects you to fears as well. So one of my past life, where I was a man, and also I died in the desert because I couldn't support my family. So our family became really poor, and my wife started hating me because I couldn't support kids, I couldn't support family. And during that time in my life, I felt like I'm not making enough money, or I'm not supporting my family enough, right? So I'm not a provider, and I feel like I should be a provider because there's not enough. I need this, I need that. So there were needs, right? Financial needs. So that kind of experience is also kind of showing you, sometimes you don't realize, you don't notice what's going on in your life, and you just feel stressed out about something, but you don't realize what it is. But once you go into past life experience, and I'm like, oh, okay, so now I understand where it's coming from. Now I understand this emotion better, and I see this trait in my life, right? So this trait in my life kind of show me what I'm feeling right now, and what I need to get rid of in order to live my life better, in order to get rid of stress, in order to uncover my subconscious patterns that affect my life right now, and leave them behind, right? So past life regression is a very amazing tool to kind of dig in your subconscious and see like what's coming up, what is affecting your life that you're not aware of, what's going on there that you should be poking and seeing, and maybe applying to your life and resolving it, right, in order to make your life better. And the last one that I wanted to talk about is to gain skill or power or wisdom. And I already mentioned a bit about it, but I really wanted to go a little bit more on it. Because when you experience past life as someone else, when you experience different lives, when you experience different life, right? You can be a warrior, or you can be I don't know, maybe a queen, or you can be a thief, right? Or you can be well, whatever it is that you can be, right? Just a wife, right? It doesn't matter. Or maybe you can be a farmer. So when you go into past life, you never know where it's gonna take you, what kind of experience you will be, what kind of person you will be in what times, right? So, and when you go through that experience, you bring something more, something new into your life. So there's always wisdom, because after we look at the past life events, we always get the wisdom, the learnings, the teachings that that past life gave us, right? So we always look at that, and we see what kind of experience, what kind of wisdom we can bring in our life that will help us here, right? So there's always wisdom, but you can also gain some certain traits, right? So maybe you were a very confident person in past life, like a warrior or a commander, right? And then you saw yourself on a horse, leading the army. And then once you experience that state in this life, you're like, okay, well, I'm powerful, I can do stuff, right? I'm cool. So you kind of get this, feeling like, okay, well, I used to be a warrior, I've experienced it with my whole body, I saw myself as it, so yes, I can be it, right? So it kind of gives you power, it kind of gives you new skills, right? Experiencing new skills where you're like, okay, I'm cool, I can do this. Or maybe it can give you other skills as well, right? So it depends what kind of experience you have. So maybe you were a farmer, and then you get kind of insight and perspective, like how it was to be a farmer, or how it was to live in a different life in a different time, or right? So it always gives you stuff, it always gives you certain experiences, it always gives you wisdom. So when you experience past life, it's so much fun, and it's so beneficial, and so cool, and it's so interesting. So I definitely recommend it for everyone because it gives you stuff. It gives you a lot of things that you sometimes wouldn't expect and sometimes you do expect. But the main point that I wanted to do is that, you don't have to believe in past life in order to experience it. And even if you believe that it's your imagination, why not? You're still gaining something from it, you're still experiencing something with it, so it's still fun, it's still, it's a story that you watch, it's your internal movie. So I think I've talked about pretty much most of the benefits of past life, at least what I feel very beneficial and what I really like in past life experiences. Maybe you know more, so let us know in the comments below what are benefits that you've experienced when you've done past life. If you've done it, what was your experience, what you did like, what you didn't like. Just share your thoughts, share your feelings, share your stories. I always love to hear past life stories because they're so interesting and so unpredictable. And it's always interesting to see what other people see in their past life, who they've been, what they've experienced. So share with us. And if you want to, and also hit like, subscribe. It really helps to promote the channel so I can do more videos, so I can get, I try to do more videos. I try to do videos every week, and I do videos about hypnosis, a lot of other things, self-help things. So I'm really excited that you guys are here, and I'll see you in the next video. And definitely check the other video, 3 theories about past life, how it works on your brain and why it works, and why you don't have to believe in spirituality or reincarnation in order to do past life or experiences. So I give you different theories.